Just want to make sure that YouTube is getting this because I had an error message here. Yep, here we go. All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Zen Master Sebastian Rizzon, founder of the Zen Art Center in the Mind Light Way School of Zen. I lead these classes and guided meditations on the first Thursday of every month, and I hold a Dharma talk and group meditation on the third Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. You can also find these streamed live on YouTube or anytime after on the Zen Art Center YouTube channel. The lessons and techniques all on my experiences studying and living in a Zen temple for over 20 years. I've been studying and teaching Zen for 20 temple for 16 years prior to starting this school, and became a master under my teacher, great Zen Master Kwanseum Kim. The word Zen comes from the Chinese word Chan, which itself is a shortened form of Chana, a Chinese transliteration of the Sanskrit word Dhyāna or the Pali word Dhyāna. Zen Dhyāna is a state in which awareness remains constantly engaged with what is present in consciousness. It does not necessarily require an external object, a thought, or an action, but rather a sustained flow of attention in every moment without distraction. True dhyāna occurs without effort, but most people are so conditioned to think about the world conceptually that they can't directly engage with what's present in every moment. People constantly let their mind wander and cling to their thoughts and opinions about the world and how it works. Due to this conditioning, Zen practice uses a number of techniques to help students reach a state of dhyāna. One of the techniques is a koan practice. Koans are questions or statements that challenge you to go beyond intellectual, rational, and logical reasoning. In order for you to understand the meaning of a koan, you must be completely engaged in the present moment. The koan I have for you today is, how do you remain constantly engaged in every moment? Zen is supposed to be continuous and effortless engagement in every moment, but how can you be completely engaged without effort? For most people, when they first try something, it's difficult and it requires effort to do. The activity only becomes effortless after you've mastered the required skill set to do it. You practice and practice until one day, all of a sudden, it becomes effortless, like a flow state. However, as soon as your mind starts to wander out of the present moment, you lose the flow. Zen is an unbroken state of flow. Zen teaching points you to a direct experience of the mind through unfettered awareness in every moment. Zen practice teaches you how to become a master of your own mind and thoughts. In order to do this, first, you must learn how to focus your mind and control your thoughts so that they remain focused in every moment. Today, I plan to give you some guidance on how to do this, but ultimately it's up to you to practice until you become a master. In today's class, we'll go over a few different sitting meditation techniques that you can use to learn to keep your mind from wandering. You can use these techniques to train yourself to remain completely focused in the moment. After we practice some of these techniques together, I'll also give you some practical advice for how you can learn to apply this type of focus to every aspect of your life. When we sit for meditation, we typically sit with our legs crossed. We're going to try to keep our neck and back straight. Most of the meditations will have our eyes closed. If they're open, they should be at a 45-degree angle, gazing at the floor when we're meditating. You want to have your hands, right hand, left hand, touching thumbs, centered in your lap. If you get uncomfortable at any point, you can definitely stretch out or get up. Just try to be quiet and respectful of the people meditating around you. If this position's uncomfortable for you, you can definitely adjust in a way that makes yourself comfortable. I don't think the sitting position is the most important thing. It's more about the state of concentration. So with that said, let's get started with a breathing technique that can help you relax and prepare your body for meditation. Start by breathing a little bit slower and a little bit deeper than you usually do. Visualize your heart in the center of your chest as you breathe. As you listen to me, I want you to keep slowing down your breath and breathing a little bit deeper. Feel your breath coming in through your nose and mouth, collecting all of the energy from your brain and moving it from your head into your heart. Imagine now that you're breathing with your heart. The purpose is to try to align our mind, heart, and body. You can also place your hand on your heart and close your eyes if you like. Just keep breathing a little bit slower and deeper as I talk. This is a technique you can use to relax or reset yourself whenever you feel nervous or anxious, or whenever you feel like you need to switch gears from different activities you're doing throughout the day. You can use it when you wake up, before you enter a stressful meeting, before you go to sleep, or before you meditate. If you practice this technique, you can learn to reset yourself in any moment by reminding yourself to take some slow and deep breaths. Now let's just take a few minutes and continue this slow and deep breathing. For our first meditation, we'll be, again, using our breath to help us focus and clear our mind. For this technique, we'll just sit still and quietly count our breaths. During this meditation, try to stay focused on your breath. If you lose count, that's a sign that you've lost your focus. as soon as you have that realization, just start over and start counting again. You can use this technique with your eyes opened or closed. If your eyes are open, your gaze should be towards the floor. So let's practice this together for a few minutes, and I will hit the muktak to get us started and to finish. In traditional Zen meditation, we usually focus our mind on a mantra. Mantra is a Sanskrit word that can be translated to mean a tool for reflection. In Zen, we use the mantra as a tool to reflect. It could be a reflection on a koan. Sometimes it's a simple word or a phrase that's repeated within your mind. The idea is to focus on one thing and use it to push out all of the other thoughts until your mind becomes clear of all of the. When your mind is clear and focused in every moment, it reflects the true nature of everything. For the next portion of class, we're going to go through a series of meditations using different mantras. In this next meditation, we're going to use sound as our mantra. For this meditation, we'll just focus our mind on the resonance of the singing bowl. Let the sound waves push out all of your other thoughts and clear your mind. If thoughts come, just let them go and return to focusing on the sound. For our next meditation, we'll be using a word or a phrase as our mantra by simply repeating it within our mind. If you try not to think, thoughts will inevitably come into your mind. So by focusing on a single word or a phrase, you can use it to push out all of the other thoughts. When you meditate on a mantra, try to let go of your feelings, opinions, and desire. As you meditate, only concentrate on your mantra. If any thought comes into your mind, let it pass and return to focusing on your mantra. You can use anything as a mantra during meditation, but if you don't have a mantra, I'd suggest using the mantra of Kwanseum Bosal. Kwanseum Bosal. Kwanseum Bosal is the name of the bodhisattva of love and compassion in Korean Zen. A bodhisattva is a teacher devoted to guiding and helping others. Kwanseum Bosal is often depicted with thousands of eyes and hands and is said to be able to see the suffering of everyone and help those who call out her name. Using this mantra will bring compassionate energy towards you when you meditate. Drawing compassionate energy into your mind will help you focus and clear your mind while you're meditating. Once again, the mantra is Kwanseum Bosal. Kwanseum Bosal. Now let's meditate together on a mantra for a few minutes. Now that we've used a few different methods of meditation to focus and clear our mind, I'd like us to peel back a few layers of our reality and turn our focus deeper into the true nature of our being and our awareness. I'd like you all to close your eyes for a moment. I want you to imagine yourself floating effortlessly in a boundless space that's completely dark and silent. You can't see or hear anything. You can't smell, taste, or feel anything. There's absolutely nothing stimulating any of your senses. Now imagine that you have complete amnesia. You have no memories of anything and no sense of time passing. You have no reason to feel sadness, happiness, anxiety, stress, or fear. You have no idea who you are, where you are, or how you got to where you are. You have no language to describe anything, and there's nothing to do. You sense nothing, and you have no idea about anything that ever existed. Yet you're aware, having an experience. This is pure awareness. It's the fundamental, untainted experience of being. We all share this fundamental awareness. You can open your eyes now. My words are trying to guide you to the experience of pure awareness, but ultimately, they can't explain what it is. The moment you try to explain it, you've tainted the experience. It's beyond words. It can only be experienced. Zen teaching is always trying to point you to that direct experience beyond what is beyond your own senses, thoughts, and memories. Zen koans demand that you peel back all of these layers of perception until your awareness is completely focused in the moment. For our final meditation, we're going to focus on a critical phrase. Critical phrase is a short koan that points you directly to a deeper understanding. A critical phrase could be something like, who am I? Why am I here? What is the true nature of reality? Or what is the mind, the source of these experiences? A critical phrase should be something that points you to the very source of our existence. In the next few minutes, we're going to focus on a critical phrase. When you meditate on a critical phrase, don't try to answer the question. Just focus on the question and let it burn away all distraction and thought until your mind breaks free, revealing the boundless clarity of unhindered, unfettered awareness. The techniques we practice today can help you learn how to focus your mind and peel back some of the layers of thought that cast shadows over our perceptions of nature. My hope is that you might catch a glimpse of the true nature of yourself and the world that is constantly unfolding in our mind. I'm trying to guide you to a different type of experiential knowledge that can't be understood with words. Everything we perceive with our body is an artifact of reality that's been filtered by our senses. Our thoughts are constantly wandering off to different places, contemplating the world, labeling things, reconstructing memories, and projecting ideas about what might happen. Every thought and perception you have is a response to an artifact, which is nothing more than an echo of our reality. The truth only exists in this moment. Even if I provided you with empirically verified proof of these statements, it would only be knowledge which gives you an intellectual understanding of what I'm saying. Wisdom is understanding how to apply this knowledge in every moment. True wisdom requires complete focus in every moment. All knowledge is useless if you don't understand how to apply it in the current conditions. The purpose of Zen is to guide you to this type of wisdom. The sitting meditation techniques we practice together can help you learn how to focus your mind, but that's just one step. Zen means complete and effortless focus in every moment. However, you can't sit and meditate all day. You have to feed yourself and live your life. So, how can you keep your mind clear and stay engaged when you're moving around throughout the day? The key is to learn how to remain focused on whatever you're doing without letting your mind wander. You have to stay focused on whatever you're doing as if it's your mantra. This might sound simple, but it's not actually easy to do. Initially, learning to focus requires effort. For most people, it requires practice. One way you can practice this type of moving meditation is by doing an activity you enjoy. It could be an artistic endeavor like drawing or painting, writing, dancing, or making music. It could also be a sport or a physical endeavor like yoga or weightlifting, riding a bike, or martial arts, which was the art form I learned this through. Engaging in a physically challenging activity will demand your attention and focus. It'll also make your body stronger, which is also vital for maintaining your mental health. Even walking can be a form of meditation if you engage all of your senses and focus on your surroundings. If you can remain completely focused on the moment, you can reach a flow state where your actions flow through you without thinking. If you're completely focused on each moment, it can enrich your experience by elevating your awareness of everything going on around you. If you practice some form of sitting in meditation a little bit every day, eventually you can turn everything you do into a meditation. You can be meditating while doing your dishes, or cleaning your room, or doing the work at your job. Zen is the sustained flow of attention without distraction that arises naturally when your mind becomes immersed in every moment. When your mind is completely engaged in the moment, it will be clear. Having a clear mind has all sorts of practical benefits in your life. It sharpens your ability to focus and concentrate. A clear mind leads to clear thinking, which helps you make better decisions. If you make better decisions, you have less stress, anxiety, and depression. If you want to have a clear mind, I suggest getting started by practicing just a few minutes of sitting and moving meditation every single day. You can also expand your practice as much as you'd like, but don't ever skip a day if you can help it. always try to do at least 1 minute. This is actually not easy to do. Something always comes up, right? But it makes your mind incredibly strong if you can learn how to do this. Try it for the next month. Come back and tell me how you do. Let me know if it makes a difference in your life. At most, it'll only cost you a couple minutes every day. But for me, learning how to do that completely changed the way my life is. With this type of everyday meditation practice, over time, you'll get better at focusing your mind, and eventually, focusing your mind in every moment will become effortless. I won't kid you though, this took me many years to learn how to do. When you learn how to apply this knowledge to every moment, this is the true wisdom of Zen. When you attain this wisdom, you'll see the true nature of everything in every moment. When the focused light of your mind penetrates through every moment, this awareness awakens the intuitive understanding of our true nature. This is what we call getting enlightenment. If you want to attain this, keep practice focusing your mind in every moment until you learn to control your thoughts. When you can remain focused and engaged in every moment, you'll be a true master of your mind. I wish you all good luck in that journey. Just keep practicing a little bit every day. And with that said, that's the conclusion of the guided meditation portion. But I'll stay and answer questions if you have questions about anything I said or anything we did. I also take questions from the chat, or if there's anybody on Zoom who has questions, maybe you can pop them in the chat, and those will be relayed to me. Any questions?
What's the Dharma meaning again?
Dharma.
Yeah.
Dharma is, it can have some different meanings depending on who you ask, but the way I define it is the truth of nature, or the truth inherent in nature. It's just, and that's also sometimes they refer to Buddha's teaching as the Dharma, because that's what he was trying to teach people, is how to experience and understand the inherent nature, the inherent truth in nature. And so that's what the point of all of these practices are, is to understand that. It's not something I can tell you and convey to you in like conventional knowledge, but it's the wisdom that comes through keeping your mind in every moment. Any follow-up to that, or was that
Just curious.
Yeah. You might find some different definitions, but that's basically how we use the word in Zen. Any other questions? Feel free. I love this part of the class. It helps me kind of fill in the gaps for what I might have missed in my talks. And sometimes I might say things and they don't really, they might not sink in. So feel free to ask.
How long have you been practicing meditation?
20 years, a little over 20 years. And I lived in a Zen temple for 16 years. So starting in 2005 and left in 2021. So, and then I started this school. Yeah, but I tried it for years before that, to be honest, and it didn't really take. For some reason, I just would get uncomfortable and I would give up. So one of the things that was really a turning point for me was learning how to meditate while I'm doing things as well. And that's one of the things my teacher really emphasized. We did the sitting meditation, but we also learned meditation through martial arts and through the activities around the temple, keeping your mind present in every moment when you're cleaning the temple, doing the dishes, working around the temple, or even when you're addressing each other in conversation. So learning to keep your mind focused like that, and then doing those types of practices somehow, and then also being part of a group, made it much easier for me to sit and meditate as well. But I think it's important to try all of those approaches to meditation, and they all can serve as different tools in different parts of your life. But that actually leads me to one of the questions that's in the chat here, which is, what is Sangha? Sangha, so this, and I'll relate it to your question, that the tenets of Zen are called the three jewels: the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. So the Buddha is the teacher, the Dharma is the teachings, and the Sangha is the third element. That's the community. And so that's the community that supports you on your journey, that supports each other in this journey to understanding the true nature of ourselves and the true nature of our mind. And I like to think we have the Sangha around us here tonight, but I also like to think of different levels of the Sangha. The Sangha is the community, it's the country, and it's the whole world, ultimately. But traditionally, it's generally defined as the meditation community. But I think of the world as a Sangha, and trying to help the whole world. Any other questions?
This is just like a silly question. Why do some people prefer to meditate with other people, like together in a room?
Well,
But
okay.
don't do it at home by themselves.
The question is, why do people like to meditate with other people?
Is it better? Is it a better experience?
Well, I can't really speak to other people's personal experiences.
And
So
it's harder when you're alone.
I will say I had the same experience, though. It's harder for me to meditate. Initially, it was much harder for me to meditate by myself. I think when I first joined, my Sangha, I think there was a degree of peer pressure. Like, I didn't want to be the one standing up, uncomfortable, stopping, or letting my mind wander when everybody else was focused around me. So I think initially there was some of that, but I think there's some sort of like group energy too that also makes it easier. And it's hard to explain, and I don't have any science to back this up, but it just feels easier when you're with a group of people who are all doing the same thing. And I think that is an important element of it. So, and I have a feeling that's why it's part of the three jewels, as one of the critical aspects of Buddhism. But yeah, and for me, it's encouraging and inspirational to be around other people who are meditating still. And I love sharing this tool that's been, so powerful in my own life with other people. So yeah, but I can't answer for everybody, but I think, I do know some people who really like to meditate by themselves as well. For me, it really did help to have the community to meditate with. And I think just having a community that you're a part of, you have a place to go and be around people doing the same things. And I think just having a community makes it more enjoyable sometimes. So it's like with a lot of things you do. It's like if you have a knitting community or something, it's more fun to knit, probably. I'm just guessing. But yeah, it's I have a few different, groups that we do art and writing together as well. And I find in those situations too, it's more motivating to sit down and write or to work on a piece of art that you've put aside. But I also feel like the creativity flows between the people, and you can kind of feed off of that in other people. And I think something similar happens in meditation, where you feed off of the energy of the other people meditating. Any other questions? I got to Jason's. He asked about the Sangha. He's joining us. Jason's a part of our extended community. He was here but moved to Pittsburgh, so he's watching online. I also made him a moderator for the chat, so thanks for keeping the group safe here.
Do you do these meditations every week or every?
Right now, it's twice a month. So first and third Thursday of the month.
Gotcha.
Same time, 7 o'clock. I have some other meditation and creative groups, and I'll make an announcement about that, actually. I just want to, yeah, if anybody has any other questions, though, I will definitely answer that. But yeah, the one on the 3rd of the month is I give a talk as well, more kind of about similar ideas about what I talked about today, but just more in depth into certain things. I do a Q&A at the end as well, and we mainly just do the word or phrase mantra in that class, so I don't go through all of these different types of meditations. So that's the difference, but twice a month, basically. First and third Thursday. I pretty much always adhere to that schedule. So you found me on Meetup?
Yeah.
So it's all, I try to keep them posted a few months, or, all the classes a few months in advance, so you can always check there as well.
For sure, I'd love to come back.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. So I'm going to make well, first I'll just give everybody one last chance if you have any questions. Oh. I do have a question here from Jay Hoffus in the chat. How do you snap out of the loop of sensory motor prediction overload? I'm not exactly familiar with that term. So, anybody else familiar with that term? Perhaps you can fill me in. I'm going to take a stab at answering it, even though I'm not sure if I'll be addressing it directly. But, if I'm thinking about the sensory intake and the actions you're taking, as in sensory motor, or, trying to predict things happening, I think that is something kind of ingrained in us to do, perhaps through evolution and having to survive. And but I think one of the most important aspects to preventing any form of overload from those things is learning how to control your thoughts, learning how to focus them on whatever's in front of you. And so I would just kind of refer back to what I said in the class. You can practice sitting meditation. You can practice a moving meditation, learning how to focus your mind on certain things. I think sometimes if you have like an activity that demands your attention, whether it's an art or a form of art or creative practice, a sport of some sort, those things demand your attention and will kind of force you into a state where you have to focus on every moment. But I think the key here is these are just tools. They don't really work if you don't practice. So when your senses are being overloaded, it's really hard to meditate if you've never done it before. So the key is practicing, and that's why I tried to say practice a little bit every day. Practice on the good days and the bad days. Some days it's going to be hard. Some days it'll feel easy. The key is, like any exercise you do, is practicing it, and you get better and better and better. You know, when you start doing anything, you're not a master. After years and years of practice, you become a master of controlling your thoughts, learning how to focus your mind. It's a skill that you can learn. And he clarifies here, it's about constantly scanning the future for uncertainty. So that's essentially what I was pointing at. Maybe not exactly, but I think my answer is still the same. You can use these techniques. The key is keeping your mind focused. But if you're not practicing different ways to learn how to focus your mind, it's not going to work when things are overloading your senses and, you know, your life is chaotic. You need to start a little bit of practice, a little bit every day, and it's like lifting a weight. The first time you try to lift a heavy weight, you can't do it. But if you build up, starting with smaller weights, then eventually you can lift the heavier weights. It's the same with meditation. You have to build it up so you can do more with it. It works in those moments when you're really stressed out or a lot of things are coming at you. It's a skill of sorts. So I think you can theoretically focus your mind in any moment on demand, but the practicing it is how you learn how to trust your tools. So then you understand, and you've practiced it, you understand, oh, you can feel yourself looking into the future, scanning things for uncertainty, and say, oh, I have a tool to bring myself back into this moment. And it's these meditations, it's the focus, it's learning how to focus it, but you don't trust it unless you forget that you have it in your tool belt if you haven't been using it. So yeah, it is both focusing on the now and learning to trust. I mean, in truth, the future is always uncertain, no matter how much you scan out there and think you can predict things and the way they're going to happen. We're just inherently pretty bad at that as humans. So by keeping your mind in this moment, it will actually help you navigate into the future more effectively and clear out of all the obstacles and challenges and dangers that could potentially be coming. If your mind is in the moment, that's what you need to respond to. And that type of focus will help you understand how to put yourself in the right position. Yeah, I would just say there's a bit of a chat going on here, and I'm reading in on it. But I do agree with some of it. Go to that breathing technique, the first one we did. Just take some deep breaths. Slow your breath down. Focus on your breath. That will bring you back to at least this part of the moment. And then if you can take a moment to meditate, you can do that. If not, try to stay focused on what's in front of you and what needs your attention in this moment. And just keep practicing. Yeah, it's like a non-action. You will be taking action, but he says it's like a non-action in a sense, allowing the future to become by itself. And it will unfold no matter what you think about it. It will unfold in a certain way. You can control your actions that you're taking. You can control how you feel about it. And you can control the amount you're focusing on in every moment. Those are really the things you have. So the better you get at doing those things, the better you'll be able to navigate through all the unpredictability. Well, thanks for the questions. Really appreciated that. And I hope my answers were helpful. Any more questions? Anything about that? Or? All right. Well, if you didn't get a question in, or if you want me to elaborate on that again, we'll be here in 2 weeks, and I'll have another Q&A, and you can ask some more questions or leave a question in the comments, or and I'll take a look at it. Yeah, and we'll be back here the first and the third Thursday of every month. So the next one's in 2 weeks at 7 p.m. That will be my Dharma talk. For the people here, I don't do these online, but I also host Zen art and writing groups once a month, where we practice moving meditation through our art and our writing practice. I also offer some guidance on how to use sitting meditation as a source for inspiration, and how to turn your creative endeavors into a form of meditation. So the first group is the Zen Art Collective. The next one will be on April 26th. So it's the Saturday, April 26th from 3:30 to 5. And starting in May, we're going to move that to the third Sunday of every month. But prior was on a Saturday, so we're going to be switching our schedule up a little bit. But that'll all be on the meetup. We also have the Zen Writers and Poets Society. That's the second Sunday of every month from 3:30 to 5. So that'll be not this Sunday, but next Sunday, April 13th. If you're interested in learning a new art form, I also offer sword and martial arts lessons here, and it's a great form of exercise and moving meditation. So if you want more information, you can just talk to me about that after this class. You don't need any prior experience for any of these classes. Just need to show up, and for the creative classes, bring a project to work on, bring something you want to work on, and an open mind. And then all of the information for the schedule is on the meetup page, on the zen-artcenter.com website, and we have a full calendar on the mindlightway.org website. So all those links are in the chat. In closing, the Mind Light Way School of Zen is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We try to keep all these classes free and open to the public, but we do rely solely on donations to be able to continue to offer these classes. So if you found value and would like to support the school, the information on how to make a donation is in the description of the video, and also we have information at the table near the door here on the way out. Your generosity in supporting these programs is greatly appreciated, and if you're here in person, you're welcome to stay and hang out and chat for a while and strike up a conversation with me or anybody else in the group here. Thank you for coming. I appreciate your support, and I hope to see you all again next time around.